Constance Mega. The national president of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC, Joe Ajero, has confirmed that the organised labour has suspended its planned strike over fuel subsidy removal. Mr. Ajero confirmed this alongside Femi Gbajabiamila, who led the federal government's delegation to a meeting with the labour leaders. While reading the resolution of the meeting, Mr. Gbajabiamila said they also agreed to set up a joint committee to review proposals for wage increase and the World Bank assisted cash transfer to include low-income workers.
All of the demands submitted by the TUC to the federal government will be assessed by the joint committee. So consequently, the parties agreed as follows. 1. The NLC is to suspend the notice of strike forthwith to enable further consultations. 2. The TUC and the NLC to continue the ongoing engagements with the federal government and secure closure on the resolutions above. And finally, the labor centers and the federal government to meet on June 19, 2023 to agree on an implementation framework.
Well, NLC President Joe Ajero called for the political will to achieve an alternative to petrol.
I think the whole battle we are having now is the issue of the cost being at 500. And by our last meeting during Silver's time, we are talking about 90 naira. If this government achieves an option or alternative that is even under 90 or 120 or whatever, I think everyone will be clapping for them. So what we need is the willpower. And if we achieve that, I think there will be, a lot of success, a lot of progress so made. I believe that what we need is for them to work unlike what we experienced before. By now, we should have gone far.
On his part, TUC President Festus Osifo urged the government to keep to the agreement.
We from Labour, all we want to encourage government is to take this seriously because this government is just coming. This may be the first agreement that is being signed by this government that was inaugurated on May 29. So I want us to commit to get these issues resolved as soon as possible. So for us, Labour, we are totally committed to get these issues resolved for the benefit of the entire Nigerians.
Well, Monday's engagement was the third series of meetings between the government and key labor stakeholders after the President Bola Tinubu announced the end of petroleum subsidy exactly 1 week ago. Well, yesterday, the federal government secured an interim order stopping the NLC from embarking on the strike. Justice O.Y. Anuwe gave an interim injunction restraining the NLC and the TUC from going on strike until the determination of the motion on notice. The judge then adjourned the matter for further hearing till 19th of June. Meanwhile, the joint health sector unions, JOHESU, have suspended their indefinite strike for 21 days after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu. JOHESU Acting National Secretary Matthew Ajirotu, who announced this, said the president promised to approve their demands. Moving on now. A state high court in Port Harcourt has sentenced to death the general overseer of the Altar of Solution and Healing Assembly, Chidebere Okorafo, for murder. Pastor Okorafo was standing trial for killing his choir mistress, Uloma Onwagba, whom he allegedly impregnated. He also faced murder charges for the killing of Uloma's friend, Ada Chigozie Ezenwa, and her 11-month-old daughter, Christabel Ezenwa, on 11th December 2017. Well, late Uloma and her friend had visited the pastor's house in Oyibo for a discussion on the said pregnancy when the incident happened. The trial judge, Justice S.O. Benson, sentenced Pastor Chidebere Okorafo to death by hanging. He said evidence before the court shows that the pastor killed the women. Well, Joseph Ezenwa, widower of Ada Chigozie Ezenwa, in an interview with correspondent Emeka Utuka, thanked the court for upholding justice on the matter.
I thank God today. And also, I will not fail to thank Rivers State government. Thank the police, state CID. I thank the former FIDA chairperson, Barrister Antonia Osademe, who assigned Mrs. Barrister Consilia Odageri Emeronzo to this matter till this moment. And I thank Rivers State Minister of Justice, the judge too. Before, I don't used to believe in judgment, but today I believe. And I thank God for all God have done today. At least my wife can go and rest. My daughter Christabel, a little child who have not committed offense to anybody, 11 months baby, she can rest today.
The State Prosecuting Counsel, Precious Aldu, also spoke on the judgment.
First and foremost, I will thank the Almighty God for giving us the strength, even when we had a series of threats. But it will serve as a deterrent to all the persons that intend to commit the same offense, because it's really a justice for all. We are happy today that this judgment was given in favor of the states.
However, Innocent Iku, lawyer to Pastor Chidebere Okorafor, said they will appeal the judgment.
It was my tenure when the matter started, and to ensure that justice.
Today, the State High Court delivered judgment convicting him of murder and then applied the provision for murder, and that is that he will die by hanging or by injection. We, as the counsel to the defendant, we have decided to appeal the case. And we are going to file our notice of appeal as quickly as possible, because we have grounds which we verily believed that the defendant did not commit the offense, and that the trial court misapprehended the facts and also misconceived the law.
A former chairperson of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Antonia Osademe, and a FIDA representative in the matter, Concilia Enwerozo, also spoke.
It was my tenure when the matter started, and to ensure that justice is done to the late woman, the child involved, and the man, because justice is in trade traffic. We followed up as FIDA to ensure that autopsy, all the necessary things were done, and I made sure I followed up with police and brought it to the Ministry of Justice for the proper prosecution. And today, I am very happy
that justice has been met, and we are also so happy that people outside will know that there are lawyers that can do matter pro bono without demanding for any money.
In another development, a young man, Chukwuebuka Julius, who was reported missing in Port Harcourt 2 months ago, has been found. The 25-year-old Julius, who is an interior decorator, had gone to evaluate a site for a job in Choba, Obiakpo local government area of Rivers State, but was reportedly abducted around Wimpy Axis. His boss, Prestige Ikechi, told our correspondent that Mr. Julius was found in Anambra State alongside other escapees.
So they wanted to move them from that point they were to another location. So that early in the morning they were moving them. They now encountered a vigilante group. Before they knew it, fight ensued between them, and then they started firing shots against each other. So while they were fighting, he removed the blindfold and then tapped some persons who were inside the vehicle with him too. They now opened the vehicle and ran into the bush. From the bush, he now sighted somebody. He decided to approach the person to tell the person that he lost his phone, that he should please give him his own phone so that he would be able to make call. Eventually, he was able to get that of his sister. The sister now came to meet me. That was how we traveled down to Anambra that early in the morning to go and get him.
3 members of some notorious gangs terrorizing the Ahoda East and West local government areas of Rivers State have been killed by policemen from the Ahoda division in Udebu community. It was gathered that the leader of one of the gangs, Ikechukwu Uturu, also known as Old School from Ahoda East, and other members of his gang escaped with bullet wounds after they engaged the police in a gun battle. The police were able to seize several weapons from the hoodlums. A spokesperson of the Rivers State Police Command, SP Gracie Ringe Koko, confirmed the killing of the 3 gangsters. A chairman of Emoa local government area, Chidi Lloyd, has alleged that some policemen in the area are aiding criminals to execute certain operations there. Dr. Lloyd said this on Nigerian 4FM's Morning Crossfire today, and he vowed to clamp down on crimes in Emoa.
We are doing quite to change the narrative of the local government. What we pray the public to do for us so avail us with information. But the most unfortunate thing in this whole effort is that some policemen have been fingered to be part of what is going on. And I make bold to say, a situation where a policeman who wears the uniform of the Nigerian police will be giving information to a criminal, will be sharing bounty, sharing money with the criminal. We have made reports to the appropriate quarters. Investigations are going on, and we thank God for the new commissioner. We will not be deterred. It's a call to duty. We will face it squarely. I'm not a man who shies away from my responsibility.
Now, on the recent ban on motorcycles in the area from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., Mr. Lloyd said there are plans to provide alternative means of transportation.
We did that some time ago in the local government, and there was sanity. For at least we were able to monitor movements of motorbikes. As chairman of council, I owe it a duty to ensure that the place is safe. Any motorcycle that flies outside the authorized time will be disciplined. You will be treated as an informant of these young men. We are talking with owners of these keke bus to deploy them. Now we are doing that. And I want to use this opportunity to commend the chairman of Ikwere local government, who had keyed into the vision of also banning the use of motorcycle in his own local government.
Moving on now, the EFCC is yet to comment about an online report that operatives of the agency raided the Gulf Estate in Port Harcourt yesterday. A video showed several vehicles in the estate and another showed a damaged door. Social media users were commenting on how suspected fraudsters who live in the estate act irrationally. Still ahead, stakeholders call for law to protect the environment. Stay tuned.
Politics, business, lifestyle, economy, social events, all of these
Governor has warned contracting the construction of the Uniport Visionary consequences in 60 days as promised. Governor Fubara issued the warning when he paid an unscheduled visit to the government. Fubara charged the contractor handling the project to match his works. Other contract handling state government's projects to step up their works. He will not condone any delay.
Sure that in 60 days, we'll give him a bit of doubt. But I need to say it's clearly that in 60 days, if this project don't see it completed, it's not going to be easy. But I believe saying yes, a job I do, I think a bit serious compared to after 2 months. If I shock me that in 60 days you're going to deliver, if I come here by 60 days from today, this job is not here, we'll be tired.
As part of efforts to mitigate flooding, a former national vice president of Nigeria Environmental Society, Professor John Onwuteaka, is advocating for a law to ban single-use plastic. Professor Onwuteaka made the call during a summit held in Port Harcourt to mark World Environment Day.
I'm glad that on Saturday we went out. How often do we want to do that? Should it just be on World Environment Day with our t-shirts and then go as a shouldn't it be a regular program that we can solicit Sunday Nigerian Environmental Society Management a bill and develop a framework for banning and for penalties? No matter how small, people that when you upset the environment by throwing away plastics, there's a penalty.
On her part, the former Commissioner for Environment, Professor Rosalind Konya, said in order to achieve the objective of a clean environment, things must be counted some of the dangers associated with polluting the waterways with plastics.
The environmental has could achieve the cause of.
How do we ourselves and how do we survive with 1,000 years such that you cannot date? I think we should be thinking beyond just the pollution. We should also be thinking of what we will do with 1,000 years there where we can degrade. Abuse the environment will abuse. Look at what happens to our waters. When it rains, it just pushes all the plastics to one point and everything. Lot of dead bodies. People die and they don't want to bury them. They put them in bags and throw them into the dustbin and all.
While also speaking, the Director of Geoscience and Environmental Management at the Rift State University, Professor Akuro Gobo, said stakeholders must continue to sensitize the people about the other advantage of plastics.
The environmental hazards could achieve the cause of hazards on our waterways because of our poor waste disposal, our drainages are. And so we appeal that we should really try and spread this before they are disposed because they are degraded and such. When they get into our drainages, they block the drainages, and at the end of it, we have been flooding our areas.
As you may know, a study published by Science Advances says about 400 million tons of plastic waste are produced each year. A figure will double by 2040. But this year, the theme of World Environment Day, which is Beat Plastic Pollution, is aimed at heightening those actions toward plastic pollution reduction. The day encourages individuals, governments, and international bodies to prioritize eco-friendly practices for a greener world and the protection. The Senate has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to appoint 20 special advisors. Tinubu's request was contained in a letter which was read during plenary by the President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, today. In business, the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics says the total value of foreign trade has declined by 2.55 trillion naira as Nigeria recorded lower exports within a year. In entertainment, Prince Harry is giving evidence at the High Court against the publisher of the Daily Mirror. Prince Harry accuses Mirror Group newspapers of using unlawful Ange Postecoglou as their new manager on a 4-year contract. Well, the 57-year-old stake won the title in his 2 seasons in charge.
And now, news for the world.
European Union Chief Charles Michel harshest shock at the attack on Ukraine's Kakhovka Dam and pledged to hold Russia accountable for war crime of infrastructure. But this comes after a huge dam in the Russian-controlled area of southern Ukraine was destroyed, unleashing a flood of water. Ukraine's military has also worked blowing up the dam. On the news afternoon, you heard that LC Joe Ajero has for the political will to achieve alternative to petrol. Rivers State Governor Timelaye Fubara contracted against delay in completing projects. The chairman of a local government area, Chidi Lloyd, has accused policemen of aiding criminals in his council. On foreign scene, the EU has vowed to hold Russia responsible for Ukraine dam attack. This was edited by Onikachi Nwosu. Mostly cloudy weather to peace to the prosperity of India and peace reign. I'm Constance Mega. Thank you for listening.